Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to Football Manager 26 here at Stade de Reims on the 20th of March, 2030, as we do have our youth intake. Now, I will look at the career page quickly because there were two jobs that normally I would have applied to. Leeds and Leicester City, especially Leicester, as I am a little bit of a Leicester City fan. Uh, between them and Fulham, I guess those would be the two teams in the Premier League I really kind of root for. There's a few others. I don't really have a club in the Premier League. In Ligue 1, I like Mets. I'm kind of follow. I think I will follow Ron's a little bit. It's just so basically I like kind of I don't know mid-table, which sounds bad. But I don't really like the giant clubs, right? I'm an underdog sports fan, and so I like trying to pretend I could take a club that maybe used to have success or had success previously, or sometimes never had success, and try to create something. So, but unfortunately, Leicester City is pretty much guaranteed to go down. Now, that does raise the interesting question. If we get promoted with rods, do I try to manage Ligue 1, or do I apply to Leicester and say, hey, I am a promotion wizard, right? Because I took Blagoevgrad up, I took Rennes up. What I then apply to that would be like, hey, I can get you back into the Premier League. Leeds has a chance to stay up. So that's more intriguing from that standpoint because this is just the club only play at the international. So the reason I say Leicester is guaranteed to go down, I mean, unless they went on some kind of insane run, because you have 7 matches left? Yep, 7 matches left, and you need realistically Crystal Palace is on 29, they're on 20. So you would have to get 9 points, potentially more than 9, depending on goal differential. So let's say 10 points. You would have to gain 10 points. Well, they did not. They basically dropped 10 in the next 7 matches. I mean, that's not impossible. That's not impossible. But, uh, and I guess technically you might only need 7 if Villa lose their next match, which I had the opportunity to apply to them earlier on, but I just was like, Villa, I think will probably pull it out, but they are struggling too. Apologies for that. Leeds, the reason I say Leeds is probably going to survive or has a decent chance, same with West Ham, who I also could have applied to earlier, is they each have 25 points, but West Ham also has a match in hand. So if West Ham wins their next one, they'd be in 18th with 28 points, and then they'd be 1 point behind Crystal Palace. Now, if the Everton job came open, I would 100% apply to that. That is a job at a club that I think obviously could do a lot of really really good things. It's got this setup. It just has been struggling recently. Man United's kind of struggling. I mean, that'd be that would be interesting, but I don't think I'm quite qualified to get there, although I am studying for my Continental Pro licensure. So we'll take a look at the fixture schedule. We did get knocked out in the 11th round of the Coupe de France by Troyes in penalties. Then we lost on the road to Bordeaux. Then we drew with Bastia. Bounced back a little bit against EA. Suffered a just shocking defeat to Nantes at home. Just absolutely shocking. So we had actually lost 3 of 6? 3 of 7, sorry. And now we've beaten Amiens, we beat Pau. So 1-0 at Amiens and 2-0 against Pau at home. So we are back to top of the table, right? And here's why the other reason I'd have a hard time applying anywhere. Everton would be an exception. Leicester City, a chance to get them promoted, that would be an interesting one. But outside of those 2 jobs, I have a really hard time seeing myself leave for a club, because here's what's gone on here at Ron's. They've given me a new contract. It wasn't a huge raise, right? But I am up to 11,000 euros a week, 4.7 after tax. There's a new 2-year contract, right? Compared to the 9,750. So, 1,200 euro a week raise. It's not bad. Like, that is not bad. So there was that. Then, of course, studied for the Continental Pro licensure. I'm a little bit surprised that I'm only considered to be working average with youngsters because that's something that I've kind of committed to, especially at Blagoevgrad, but that's all right. I'm now 43 years old. They also spent 1.1 million euros as we look at our club finances. We're down to 13.5 on improving our training facilities. So I think we'll probably go from good to great. There. So we got a new contract, got a coaching badge, funded, and got new training facilities. That is going to be really hard to leave. Now, yes, okay, if I went, let's just click on Leicester, for example. Leicester, superb and superb, right? So I mean, you know, academy coaching and youth recruitment's only good. Would want to definitely increase that. We got Leeds. I would imagine excellent, excellent, good and good again. Ellen Road. Leeds. Used to be a huge club in England, so you could say, well, we're going to rebuild them. And I'm not saying I would never leave, right? Because there are some other jobs that are interesting, like Gladbach, sorry, would be kind of interesting. The Borussia Park, right? They are a club that again used to be really good in Germany. They've kind of struggled recently, but they've got a lot of the same, a lot of the setup that you would expect, and it's okay, 37,869 seated, but 54,000, capacity overall. So, right, there are some big clubs that are available that typically I would say, that's interesting. But because I just signed a new contract, granted it's just 2 years, so it wasn't like a massive deal. I think I'm going to stay because I think we are about ready to go to Ligue 1. Although that's not a done deal. That's not a done deal. But here is where I would 100% apply to. Keep in mind, my character is Romanian. Of Czechia, Poland, Romania, especially. Let's say this opens. Belgium, potentially. I did declare interest in the Romanian national team job. Because it is considered to be insecure. Being linked with a Romanian job. Yeah, I'll say it's nice to have recognition, but I want to keep improving. Because I don't want to necessarily say, I'm not interested, because of course I am. Because I've never managed internationally in Football Manager 26. And again, my character is Romanian. So it would be an opportunity to kind of go back home. I don't think Romania is going to qualify for the 2030 World Cup. And so I don't even know that I would resign from Ron's. I think it might be a situation where I try to do something that doesn't happen in modern football and manage both. The other thing I wanted to look at is we have our new youth intake today. We have 4 elite prospects, 70 players overall. Could be a so-called golden generation. We've had a lot of those so far at FM26. Julian Thibault, the diamond of the very strong group of players. All right, so we have 4 elite prospects, we think, and then 17 overall. We have a couple of Julians. let's just take a look at Julian, who's 2 stars, 15 years old, 6'4", passing attack leader already 14. First touch at heading are 11. Mentally, determination 15 already. Work rate of 14. Decisions are 12. Bravery 11. Anticipation 13. Jumping reach is pretty good. I mean, yeah, I could see where he's gonna be good. Raba. We don't really have an advanced midfielder, but can potentially play it out here. Julian Toulier, 5'6", winger, maybe striker. Looks like winger is his best position. Determination and natural fitness are both elite, but the rest of his attributes right now look okay. And then we have Mahid. Is that how you would say this? Right winger, great at cross. Well, not great, maybe, but really good at crossing. Not bad at quarters. Determination and aggression are pretty good. Not that fast. Not that fast. Kind of surprised he's expected to be that good with that speed. Sylvian or Sylvan, 6'7". Goodness gracious, this is a big lad. I'd expect his aerial and jumping ability to be great. One-on-ones, kicking isn't great, but again, I mean, he's just 15. Jean-Marc, okay, decent at heading. You know, bravery. All right, so he's brave. Mersuden could be another possibly young defensive midfielder. You know, that is something we did not have much at Blog Overground. We never had like defensive midfielders who would come in. Right now, we look like we're going to have some decent defensive midfielders coming in. Let's see that. Let's just take a look here at Tomas. 5'6". We like our short strikers. We just. I mean, he's got 15 finishing. You know, first touch of 13, technique of 12. Like, so I mean, like none of that's bad. It's just like definitely not rolling out very many Erling Haalands here. Oh, the board. Oh dear. The board want to meet to discuss our future. I'd like to be able to combine both club and national roles. Yeah, so the board is okay with that. Now, honestly, I don't know if I would do that. Karopoulos is injured. Well, he's already suspended for the next match. So we'll have to see what happens, right? Because if Romania comes open, which I have no guarantee. Yeah, I know you want me to stay, and gosh dang it, like now I'm starting to get sad about the possibility of leaving. Because the board is like, please stay. You know, please stay. Right, so like that makes that tough. That makes that tough just because, well, international management is something I really want to do. I don't want to necessarily, leave a club that is like so, into me now. I mean, because I already did that once, right? I left Blagoevgrad, to try to take a new opportunity. They're eighth. Okay, so right now they're still in the top eight. Um, and they have two more to go. Oh, yeah, that's gonna be tough. But they could maybe get Debrudza, and then they have a chance to finish in the top eight for which would be nice. I hope they do. I hope they do. Um, so yeah, this is a interesting situation now. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pause. I will come back. I'll sign the youth people that I think I want, and then we'll come back. We'll take on Angers on the road. You can see we have what 7 matches left. 2, 6, yep, 7 matches. Um, we're gonna do Saint Etienne and Auxerre as part of a 2-part episode. So we'll do Angers here as part of the youth intake. Then we'll come back for Saint Etienne and Auxerre because this is really going to be the two that decided now. So Shaw is going to be tough. This is also going to be a tough one. So we actually have 3 really tough matches in April. So this is a big match for us being able to beat. If we could beat Angers, we need to beat Angers, and we probably need to beat Stade. Because let's see, we have a 2-point lead on Auxerre, and then we have a 6-point lead on Bordeaux and Saint Etienne. And so Chaw right now is not in the top 5, so they're 13 points back. They're not a threat in terms of our, promotion push. And actually, as I try to keep these under a half an hour because of my rambling, I'm pretty sure we are past the point, so I don't know that we'll have any actual football in this match. But we need 4 points. If we could beat Angers and then draw here, they have Pau and Angers, so they actually have a really rough schedule too, because they go Silcha, that they have Stade, that they have us, Saint Etienne, and Caen. That could trip them up a little bit. I don't know that it will, but it could. Whereas we have Dunkirk and Annecy, to close it out. So like theoretically, that could get us to 61. Then if we could do, and then if we get 65, what is that through 4? So 7. Let's say Bordeaux wins out, or Saint Etienne. 7 times 3 is 21, so that's 70. So if we get those 6, 10, that'd be 65. And let's say we beat Stade, that'd be 68. Yep. So if we beat Stade, Dunkirk, and Annecy, that's 64. And then let's say we beat Angers, so that'd be 67. Even if we lose to Sochaux, or no, if we lose to Saint Etienne, Auxerre, and Sochaux, but if we beat Angers, Stade, Dunkirk, and Annecy, we'd be at 67 points. The most Bordeaux or Saint Etienne, if they won out, they went 7 for 7, would be 70. So if we just go 4-0-3, I'm pretty sure we're going to finish second place at the worst. If we could get maybe a 5th victory, in 5-0-2, or even a draw, get to 68, right? Yeah, if we go 4-1-2 in our last 7, we'll get promoted automatically. I think because that'll give it that would make us 68 points. I don't know if we would win the title. We might not win the title, but we would get promoted. Because again, one of these two would have to go 7 for 7. And Bordeaux has Saint Etienne, Bastia, Pau, Nancy is not terrible. You know, I don't think they're going to go 7 for 7. And our goal differential is good enough that neither one of them are going to catch us on that. So even if we both ended up with 68, again, we're probably going to go up. So we'll sign our youth kids. We'll finish up the training. You know what? We'll do Angers on the road. We will come back for Socha because this is going to be a big one. And then, yeah, we'll do 3 matches here. We're going to go kind of heavy here towards the end on the matches on camera. So I apologize in a way for that, right? Because we'll go Socha at home. Excuse me. Then we'll do Stade off camera, and then Saint Etienne and Auxerre will be a 2-part episode. So we're gonna have 3 episodes of the coming month or so of game time, and then we'll see what happens if I get the Romania job, or what happens after that. But thank you everybody. Take care, and I will talk to you just a little bit.